What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm just going to talk about the easiest way to start a clothing brand in 2025. Now, it's never ever easy to start a business, but this is probably the best way to start a clothing brand. So I'm gonna just jump right into this video. Next week, I just want to talk a little bit about next week. Next week, I got a vlog coming of my weekend. I got a pretty big weekend coming up this week. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna vlog all of that, put it together, and post it on next Friday like I normally do. I post one video every week on Friday afternoon. So that will be getting to you guys next week. But right now, I'm gonna talk about how to start your brand the easiest way in 2025. All right, so the first thing is, are you creative enough to start a clothing brand? Are you dedicated enough to start a clothing brand? You have to ask yourself these questions when you're first starting out. Do you have this mindset of, I can design clothes that are different, I can market the products correctly, I can stay consistent, I can stay committed, I can stay motivated, I want to get better every single time, because your first drop will suck regardless of like what you think in your head. Your first drop is going to suck. Whether it's the piece, whether it's the marketing, there's something that's going to be off, and that first drop is kind of like a building block to get to where you need to be. So the first thing that you need to ask yourself is, am I going to be dedicated enough? Do I have a good enough sense of style, and am I creative enough to go do a clothing brand? And am I going to stay into this game, and am I going to be able to market this? Am I going to be able to learn from my mistakes? You have to ask yourself those questions before you do anything in this, because I guarantee you, if you don't ask yourself these questions and you're not honest with yourself, you are going to lose out on so much money. You're going to lose money. You're not going to make any money, and you're going to be stuck back at square one trying to find a new business model, trying to do this, trying to do that. So yeah, first thing that you have to do is you need to ask yourself you have to ask yourself all these questions. And if you can't honestly answer the questions, for one, you're not qualified. And if you say no to any of those questions, go find a new model. All right, so the first thing is, if you have already asked yourself these questions and you said yes, and you're still watching this video, congratulations. That's the hardest thing to do, is just to be honest with yourself and really figure this out. Because there's so many people that go on the internet and see these people like Quan and all these big brands making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And I'm not there yet by any means, but I want to be there. I want to get there eventually, and I think that eventually I will get there because I'm staying consistent. And when I started out, I was honest with myself. When I was trying to find a business to start, I was honest with myself. I was like, what is the best thing? What is the best business model that I could do? What is the best business I could get into to really show all my qualities into something, right? I feel like I have a great sense of style. I feel like I'm committed. I feel like I can learn from my mistakes. And those last two that I mentioned, they go really into anything entrepreneurial. It's basically learning off of your mistakes and staying dedicated and not losing your focus or anything like that. But the sense of style is definitely what put me into a clothing brand rather than a different business model. So now you have all these things that you need, right? You're ready to start. Now you need to figure out, where am I going to sell? Who am I going to sell to, right? When I first started out, I wanted to sell to athletes. But then I was kind of like, I don't know. So that's why I came up with two-tone apparel, right? A lot of athletes, you look at these professional athletes, and I mean, they put it on the field, but they also put it on off the field too, right? So when you're putting it on the field and you're putting it on off the field, it's hard to find that realm where you can go and shop for clothes in the same space, right? So basically, I started off with the sports shop, then I went to lifestyle, then I went to streetwear, then I went to streetwear again, and now I'm coming back to sports to build a full shop, right? That was my idea. I want to sell to the athletes who also put it on off the field, right? You can't sell to everybody, because not everybody's going to be interested in your product, because it doesn't fit what their interests fit. If you want to go do gym wear, if you want to do gym streetwear, right? That's niching down even more. You can do gym wear, which is this big audience, right? But with the issue with being in a big audience is there's more competition, right? When you're in a big audience of gym wear, you're in competition with Gymshark, Lululemon, all of these big gym areas, right? But now if you take that gym wear and you put it down into a smaller audience, which would be gym streetwear, right? The oversized graphic tees that you see people wear in the gym, or the zip ups that you see people wear in the gym, right? If you go into gym streetwear, there's less competition. There might be a smaller audience, but you're niching down so much that those people will see that product. Oh, I've never seen that before. Let me get it. That's the whole mindset of niching down so much to the point where, yeah, the audience might be smaller, but you're making more than if you were marketing to a broader audience. All right, so now you have your niche, you have, you want to do this, right? Now it's kind of like, all right, now where do I start? The first thing that I would do is either hire a designer or design yourself. I recommend you design yourself. If you get into this because you're a creative person, you should be able to design this stuff yourself. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get through that, you'll be fine. I spent like 4 months probably designing and stuff, trying to figure it out, but now I'm an expert in graphic design, and that's another high value skill that I have on my hands. So I recommend that you learn to design yourself. Anyways, you now need to figure out what piece do you want to make, right? So now it's like, do I want to make a tracksuit? Do I want to make a t-shirt? So I'm gonna stay on the topic of gym streetwear, right? I'll stay on the topic of that. So let's say the first thing that you want to make is a oversized t-shirt, a graphic t-shirt. So the first thing you would do, you go design that, right? You go design that, you get that over to a manufacturer, and to find manufacturers, I actually have a whole video about finding manufacturers on my page. I think it might be my second or third video. So make sure you click on that. You watch how to find a manufacturer. That's probably the best way to find a manufacturer. That's a free gem right there, so please go watch that. Now you have a manufacturer, you get your piece made, you get your sample made, you like it, you approve it. Now you can either go pre-order, pre-made. I also talked about that in another video, so I'm not gonna go too much into depth, but pre-made is you have all the inventory on hand. Pre-order would be you don't have the inventory on hand, you collect customer funds or sales that you get, and then you go pay your manufacturer. I don't recommend that because it takes a lot longer for customers, and customers get unhappy. You want returning customers. That's your biggest moneymaker right there, is returning customers. So do not trip out on pre-order. You have to take a risk and go pre-made. But if you have to go pre-order at the end of the day, then do that. Now you have to market your product. Marketing, super important. That's the most important thing, right? Just because you have 100 followers, 200 followers on Instagram with your brand doesn't mean that you're not going to get any sales. You'd be surprised, just because you know how we talked about niching down earlier. The audience isn't as big, but you're still going to have those supporters. So niching down, you might not have as many followers, but you're still going to have that. You're still going to have loyal customers and stuff. So marketing, if you're going into gym streetwear, I want you to take a guess where you should be marketing your product, where you should be taking all these reels in and doing all that. Just take a second and really think about that, because that's a really obvious answer. You're trying to sell a lifestyle with the marketing, right? So you would go to the gym and you would market this at the gym, right? If you went out into the street, maybe that would work. But if you're trying to sell the lifestyle of gym streetwear, it would be more in the gym, maybe on the street as like a secondary thing, just to sell that gym streetwear. But filming outside in your backyard or filming outside on a football field wouldn't work as well as if you were filming in the gym, right? That's showing the lifestyle. People feel attached to something that they can relate to. So if you're filming at the football field with a gym shirt, everyone's gonna be like, what? Like, I'm confused, and they're not gonna be interested. So you have to sell a lifestyle with the product. It's not just selling the product, right? So that's something that you should really take into consideration with your product is, am I marketing this product to the right audience? Now you've been marketing your product for 2 weeks and you're ready to drop. When you drop, please go into it with zero expectations, because you never know what's gonna happen. You go into it, my first drop, I thought I was gonna go crazy, and I did still do pretty well, but because my expectations were so high, and this is my expectations, this is what I actually got, and this is zero, right? I was like, this is nothing, right? But in the grand scheme of things, that was amazing that I even did that for my first clothing brand drop, right? And I still have issues with setting standards too high. Like, I still go into it with expectations, but please try not to go into it with expectations, because if you go into it with zero expectations, either you'll be happy about it or you won't be disappointed in yourself because you had no expectations. And the thing about clothing is that it's really random. But yeah, when you drop your product, make sure you go through your website, make sure you do this, make sure you go through your website, you make sure everything is good, make sure you post on all your social medias, you run your PostScript SMS marketing, and that's pretty much it. If you guys want me to go into a deeper definition of what some of these things that I said are, feel free to go in the comments and just talk about what you need help with doing. I'll be more than happy to make a video on it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for watching once again. Yeah, just thank you guys. Next week I got a good video coming in. And yeah, thank you guys. I'll catch you guys in